All right, I'm going live. I'm going live. Hi, everyone. I'm going to take my mask off. Check and see if we're live. Hope you're all well out there. So just give us a second here. Put this away. I'm going to try to follow along on my phone to see who's joining us. And we're waiting to see if the sound is good. Here with Kirk Fox in the Audrey Blackford room at Barren Ridge Vineyards. Sounds like we're good. Alrighty. I'll wait for a few people to join. We're going to be tasting Riesling 2017 and 2019 today. We just released the Riesling 2019, and I'm going to be tasting and also talking a little bit about the varietal, where it's grown. I'm just picking a couple of locations today. This is going to be an example also of just speaking about different wine growing regions. We're probably going to add more of this type of content in the future. If you guys are interested, you can let us know to go around the world to different wine regions and just talk to them. But we're going to start with the varieties that we have right here. So I'll show you the 2 bottles of Riesling. Hi, Leslie Hall. Always nice to have you on, Leslie. And Sherry. Nice to have you on, Sherry. Christoph Weibler. So we have friends from Germany. Our old winemaker, Christoph Weibler, who was our first winemaker here, joins us from southern Germany, not too far from Stuttgart. So he's a Schwabian. And they speak they have a beautiful German dialect. So hi, Christoph, feel free to, actually don't ask me questions because you probably know a lot more than I do, so maybe leave me alone. But say hi, it's nice to have you with us. And usually we have some friends joining from France. Oh, Dominic Buffet. We have a French sommelier, Dominic, who taught me and Angela at our university in the Rhone Valley, Suze-la-Rousse University. So he is a top sommelier in France. So I guess the pressure's on today. And I will show you a couple tasting sheets that I did. But glad to have some new people on. I appreciate it very much. We have some people that do taste along with us and even prepare dinners along with these tastings. They usually go back and watch the videos. And I'm not going to mention them by name, but I talked to them this week. If they're comfortable, I'll say who they are in the future, but they're preparing things like mushroom bisque, followed by a salad with rocket and arugula, pork ribs, and cheese, and they choose different regions and different Virginia wines, and they do choose wines from all over the world. So they do some interesting things, and there's a few groups out there that do stuff like that, so we're always glad to hear that. So always connect with us if you're interested, and we're always happy to talk about the wines. All right, so we'll get going. Hi, Valerie. Got some family on here. All right, we got a nice little crowd on here, so we'll get going. So we have 2 Rieslings. I'll start by showing you the bottle. Excusez-moi, bonsoir, Dominique. Guten Abend, Christoph. Ich hoffe, alles geht gut. So now we start with the wine tasting. Just had to say hello. So we have a 2017 in my right hand and 2019 in my left hand. You see the color is very different, much lighter color for the 2019. And I'm going to talk about the wines a little bit. Beautiful label done by our former winemaker from southwestern France, Pauline Dubier, who is a new mother, so I hope she's doing well too. So these are the 2 wines we'll be trying. I haven't even opened the 2017 yet, so we'll just open the bottle. Been running around a bit today. We did a nice feature in the vineyard. We went with Mark McCune, our vineyard manager and viticulturist, who's been with us pretty much the whole time we've been around, and he's helped us to raise the quality of our wines, and Without him, we would have been in real trouble a bunch of times, so we appreciate all the people that help us here. So you can open the bottle, you can smell the cork if you like, and I'll talk more about that in the future. There's some technical things related to wine opening. That's a whole process in itself, and also about corks. But now we're moving to the tasting. Cork smelled good, by the way. So this is our 2017 Riesling. And so we have a vineyard that produces our Riesling up near Mount Crawford. It's called Pleasant View, and we've leased this for 30 years from Jim and Joyce Benedict, and the vineyard's called Pleasant Ridge, and it's a beautiful vineyard, 1,800 feet of elevation. So with that elevation, we have good elevation here at Barren Ridge 2, 1,200 to 1,400 feet, and that elevation gives a nice structure to the wine, good acidity, nice freshness, cooler soils, and we really love to have this elevation. It's something we really have in the Shenandoah Valley, which helps us make world-class wines here. So cheers. Here's the 2017 Riesling. So, as always, we'll take a little smell. Smells good, nice and clean. You get some notes of citrus, which you often do from Riesling. There's a little bit of age on this one, so it's gonna smell and taste very different from a newly released 2019. So you get some nice fruity notes, and you get some mineral notes like kind of wet stones, and some nice floral notes as well, and some nice spicy notes. You get something like bergamot and white pepper. This is the very last bottle of 2017 that I just opened, so we have run out of that one, and we'll continue to try to make good Riesling. But cheers. Here's to you. Very good, very clean wine, nice fruit, nice acidity. It's not going to be the same as drinking German Rieslings. Can be extremely high in acid. I will show you a little picture from one area that's very famous for Riesling. This is a picture from the Mosel in Germany. So this is a beautiful river. It's become known as one of the most famous areas for growing Riesling in the world. I prefer the Rieslings from where my wife Angela is from the Falls, the Palatinate. And we'll go into detail on all these different things at a later time. But this is a beautiful picture of the Mosel. And while we're showing pictures, I'll show you one of the Alsace. Might not be very clear, you know, and there's a lot of beautiful culture in Europe. So you have vineyards, and you have nice castles on top of hills and things like that. And this is in the Alsace. This is Grand Cru in the Alsace. And so that's France. And this is what Riesling looks like when it ages. And I'll talk more about that. So that's a little explanation of the color change, but probably not most of the picture. But they do get very dark, and you can age them for a very long time. Okay, so back to me. So this is good Riesling. 2017 was a good year as well, very different from the heat that we had in 2019. But it tastes very good. Has very low sugar, so our goal here, we're making wines mostly dry, and wines with good acidity and structure that we get naturally in our vineyards, and we try to get what we do is try to get what we have in the vineyard, our special soils, and get that into the glass. I say that all the time, but we have these beautiful soils in the Shenandoah Valley up at this high elevation, and we get our soils from erosion from the Allegheny Mountains, some of the oldest soils on the planet, and a lot of weathered shale, limestone, clay, and soily riverbed deposits. And for Riesling, things that are mineral like limestone and shale, slate, things like that produce excellent Rieslings. And this one tastes very good. You get a little green apple note in the finish, even something a little bit cider-like, which comes with age. So it's a very good wine. And I'm going to go and try the second one. Sorry, I have no script today. We really do these unscripted most of the time, and we'll keep doing them that way because it's fun. And we like to keep it very honest and direct with our people out there. Lee Hartman, Bob Barren, and we do have someone from France. Hi, Anne. Anne has a beautiful vineyard in Châteauneuf-du-Pape, so I'm always glad. She's a good friend of mine. She was at school with me too. And Bob Barren from Stanton, love to have him here. And Lee Hartman, another winemaker over at Bluestone. And we're also partnering with some local vineyards with a new project where for the kind of central Shenandoah Valley. Bluestone is one of them. Another one is Cross Keys, and then Bricks and Columns. So we're going to be doing some marketing together, and maybe we'll even taste some of each other's wines in forms like this to keep it interesting. We've already tasted all the wines that we have, so our entire line has been tasted. And we're going to move on to the Riesling 2019, brand new release here. Jim, who owns the vineyard, thinks it's the best Riesling we've produced from his property, and I also agree. I think it's excellent. Has a very different nose. You know, it's a lot fresher, younger wine. It's a bit more floral, and it has a bit more character than the 2017. You get white flowers. It's what you would call a bouquet. It's very complex. One of the good things about Riesling, you get complexity from this one varietal, but very aromatic, apple blossom, and you get some flinty notes, or something even like gunpowder, and a lot of sweet fruit. I mentioned in my tasting notes Mirabelle plum, kind of a very ripe yellow plum, and you get something like baked citrus. And some more mineral notes, like something like slate or wet stones. And I mentioned a maritime breeze. That's a little bit poetic, but there is kind of a salty note in the nose, and that's also a form of minerality. And it kind of whets your appetite. I'm already getting hungry just smelling this wine, so it smells very fresh, aromatic. When I say a bouquet is usually a composition of different flowers, so there's a lot of different components to this wine. So it's really a fantastic wine. I always try to be objective with wine tasting, including from our own wines, but I find it delicious. Has a lot of different characteristics to it. Sorry, I'm not smiling too much. It's hard to taste and smile at the same time, but I'm really glad to be here and do these tastings for you. But so this wine, it has a totally different character. It has a lot of character, a lot of body. Up front, you get a lot more citrus, very clean citrus, and the weight is very apparent from the beginning, and it really kind of goes up and down from with this nice bracing acidity up front and this fresh citrus to more developed, more ripe fruit notes in the middle, the mid palate, kind of on the center part of the tongue. And the good acidity carries the wine very long, gives it a lot of finesse and length, which we often get in our vineyards through our precise work and our good soils that have a lot of character, and vines that have been on these soils for quite a while that have adapted well. So very, very expressive, And as it opens up, I tried this wine as well yesterday. As it opens, it gets even more expressive, and I'm still tasting these kind of energetic mineral notes on my tongue and really bright citrus fruit, and also getting some notes of tangerine, green apple, and just a delicious wine. It really, it has more character, and it has this more developed fruit, this fruitiness that's not quite as apparent as in the 2017. So for wine pairings, so I do these tasting notes. I'll just show you what the tasting notes look like. We're going to keep adding to these. Let's see, so this is the 2017. So we write up the typical aromatic profile and then my own tasting notes and just the characteristics of Riesling and some basics about viticulture. And eventually I'll get around to doing art for showing you what's in the glass. So here I have a lime and looks like maybe a lemon or a pineapple and a peach, from less ripe to more ripe. And this is just how it is. And as far as wine pairings, Riesling is really a delicious wine to pair with food, good acidity, cuts through fatty foods, and helps to balance out spicy foods. There's some nice sweet fruit in this, so that also helps to tone down spicy foods. It's pretty much perfect pairing for spicy Asian food and anything mineral like oysters or anything with salinity like oysters, with the minerality and the salinity in this wine. It's kind of a perfect pairing. Anything that's mineral really goes well with. Also ceviche, different types of fish, shellfish, things like for the summer, grapefruit salad with some crab. And also there's a famous Riesling chicken dish. Someone from home, someone who works here just said she tastes honeysuckle. What did she say? I didn't see it. She said something about a honeysuckle. But it's really good food wine, and there's also a famous dish in, I guess it's more Austrian, called Tafelspitz, which is slow-cooked beef, and it goes very well with Rieslings. It's often paired with really Gruner Veltliner, but it's also delicious with something acidic like Riesling, so people don't think about pairing beef with white wines, but this is an excellent pairing, and also with beef carpaccio and fresh things like that. This Riesling would go perfectly. And as I mentioned, as they age, you can age Rieslings for a very long time. And part of that is the good acidity that you get from the Rieslings, and also the good fruit. And as they age, they develop these deep colors, and they develop these more petrol notes. This complexity turns into an oily type petrol note. Some people like it and some people don't. But you can age Rieslings for 20 or 30 years with no problem, and you see if you like them or not. For us, I would say it's probably better to drink them young, but it is interesting to taste them as they get older. But I like mine young and fresh. And I don't really have a script, so I just want to say we're in the Audrey Blackford room. So we had our first event here yesterday. We had an engagement party that was very nice. We had the tables nicely spaced out for everybody, and we're still trying to keep people outside. And we will announce plans of how we're going to be opening more in the future. One big event that we have next weekend, we are going to do something for July 4th. We're welcoming back Larry Ragland, who's going to play acoustic guitar from 4 to 7 p.m. So we're really happy to have Larry back, and because he's been a big part of this place. And then we're going to live stream from the Heifetz Institute, the Heifetz Hoot Nanny, which is very famous here in Stanton, and is usually live from Mary Baldwin, and it's usually a very festive event. I won't say too much tonight about the Heifetz organization, but this is a classical music mentorship program for some of the best young musical students in the world, and it's basically to help them grow as artists in every way possible, so not just from technical playing of instruments, but also how to interact with audiences and establish a nice relationship with the audience, and a lot of other factors. They can talk about their organization much better than I do. But on Saturdays, they do these hootenannies, and it's a little bit more liberal. It's not a strict classical musical performance, but they let the players play bluegrass, jazz, New Orleans jazz, even Broadway music. So it could be anything, but it'll be fun. We're going to live stream it into our sound system, and we will have a screen set up. We only have one screen here, but we'll see how that goes. And we're inviting people to come to our patio and sit outside, and only by reservation. And we are going to be practicing physical distancing, and we ask you kindly to wear masks as you make your way to your space or when you come through the building. So we're going to keep operating under these principles, and we'll have wine for sale by the bottle. And so we're going to have this live music, and then we're going to have a little fireworks display after dark, so after 9 p.m. sometime when the hootenanny is finished. And we've been doing that recently every year, and we'll be doing that again. So come please join us for that. And we're going to start, so we have very limited space that we have for reservations, but we will be adding some space outside where people can sit and spread out a blanket or bring your own chairs and have a little picnic. So we're going to be adding some spaces like that, so feel free to call us if you're interested in that. We just don't have space for people to come in if it rains, so we have very limited space inside. So the reservations for the patio, they can come inside if it rains, but we can fill you in on all those details. But thanks for joining us today for tasting our beautiful 2019 Riesling. Good job, Jesse Gatewood, our winemaker, and Mark McCune, our vineyard manager, and Jim Benedict and Joyce with their beautiful vineyard. So we appreciate it very much. Thank you for everything you've done for us. You've been amazingly supportive, and we love you for it. And we'll continue doing these tastings. We'll be showing a viticulture video in the near future that we took today, and we'll keep things going. And I hope you guys keep coming in. I would love to maybe chat with you, more of you live, or have you ask questions. But we're going to be doing different things in this format, and we'll continue to develop what we're doing as far as virtual events go, and we will start adding some other events here. So, but we're going to continue being careful. So, thanks so much for your support, and wish you all a beautiful week. See some of you next 4th of July, and thank you for joining us from all over the place in Virginia and around the country, and from at least 2 other countries today. Frank Morgan joined, so we have some real wine professionals. Hi, Frank. Nice to have you on here. And we'll catch up with everybody next time. And feel free to shoot us any questions you have, or let us know what you would like to see, okay? So wish you all a beautiful week. Cheers. Stay safe and well. And we'll catch you in the near future. Okay? Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Signing off. Okay. Take care, everybody. Bye.